So, given the way that Jeremy was interacting with his peers on Monday, how did you coach Miss Porter in interpreting his actions and also reacting to them?
I'll just say I didn't like that she only told one student that they had a great point. Like, she could have been more encouraging to them as well instead of just the one student who she felt had the best answer.
I mentioned to Miss Porter that it could be perceived as passive aggressive. So I told her, what's most important is that they're participating. So praise that. And then you could say afterwards, thank you for sharing that. That was really great insight. Next time, raise your hand. But when it's used like to the point where, if you're not doing it this way, you're now being punished, then it's missing the opportunity for learning and growth.
What do you think about the teacher's instinct or response when she responds to him asking to go to the bathroom?
It's like, who wants to be timed going to the bathroom?
Right.
So that would have been, as a student, that would have been embarrassing for me because of just that, having everybody know that I'm on some sort of alternate plan with her doesn't make me want to come back to this space.
Right. I think something else that would be good for Ms. Porter and anyone similar to Ms. Porter to hear is trust your colleagues, because Coach Wright not only helped the student by redirecting and reframing for him, but he also stood up for Miss Porter. And then Miss Porter was so focused on accountability and these high expectations that she missed seeing, my colleague had my back and helped me with the student that I've been really struggling with. Yeah. And I can only imagine how Coach Wright must have felt, where he took time to help support this student and also kind of helped alleviate what is probably very visibly an ongoing issue between Miss Porter and her relationship with that student.
What about the referral piece?
Again, that's such a punitive response to that, where it could have been a chance for growth for both of them to start building their relationship, that writing the referral would just damage that so much. If they're trying to build if she's trying to build a relationship with them, then the referral's not going to do anything for that.
Right. It may have worked, but working and being appropriate are two different things.
How would you advise Ms. Porter to use a moment to encourage, motivate, and challenge Jeremy by drawing on his assets?
I think if she circled back and checked in and encouraged him, gave him more that's really good, that's really good. Did you share this with your group? And then even stated I heard that you summarize very well, you speak very well to things that you learn. If you could share what you have with your group, that'd be great. Encouraging him through his assets that he's shown before or previously, and involving the other students as well, and not just calling Jeremy out. Would have been really, really essential there to start a relationship first and foremost. I hope our goal is for her to create a relationship with him. I'm hoping that's what it is. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's great because he does like to just shout out and tell people what he's thinking when he's thinking it, when he has a really good idea. And that's really good. He got really good public speaking skills. And if that's the case, that's a great way to draw on his assets and say, do you mind sharing whatever it is that you think about this? But has there ever been a time that you felt before you got to where you are in your journey as an educator, that there may have been times where there have been more of a deficit framing of some of your students?
I think that in other schools there's been this, you can only teach the ones that want to learn kind of mentality, and almost giving up on a total population of kids and not having this sense that if your students aren't learning, it's not because they can't learn, it's because you're not teaching in some way that initiates them to start learning.
I noticed that when students were met with the punitive or consequence route for their behaviors, they gave up on everything that they were doing. And just seeing that, if you change your mind frame of what's going, how can I help you versus what's wrong with you, can really change the dynamic of how a student can grow themselves and better and put themselves in better situations versus worse situations. Because I'm allowing them to be in a better situation versus a worse situation.
We have a student here. He struggles to stay on task at times, but like it can be assumed like, oh, well then he shouldn't, that we don't need to hold him to the same expectations as everybody else. I've seen myself and other coaches do that, and not like intentionally or not by like saying it that way, but it just ends up happening, and we have to catch each other on like, no, you know what? He's capable of meeting the same expectations as everybody else. We may have to support him in different ways, but like he can do it. And we need to make sure that he knows that we know that he can do it.
You may not like everything about every single person, but it's important to like something about everyone, and to find that way to connect with them. Mostly, I think that teaching has to do with the whole student, so the whole person. I have some like sayings like you can't teach them if you can't reach them. And I think it's important to know who a person is and to know what they bring with them to school.